Hello to you all. I've just had a moment of reflection just around my energy levels, my productivity levels, the things I want to do, the things I want to let go of in my life, and the things that I would like to keep, things that help me. And also the confusion, not really knowing where to start with certain things, and confusion that comes from outside. And, I have a lot of moving parts in my life. I believe we all do. We all have a lot of moving parts, and we have to take those into consideration as we add new things to our plate. To feel like there's progress and to feel like we aren't dropping any balls. One of the most important balls being one's own self. What brought me here is also that I was going through something else yesterday where I was reflecting on some of the comments that I read in the comment section, because I absolutely love the comment section. And in that process, as I was going through this, although I was triggered by something negative, it helped me understand more around who I am, how I see myself, and brought clarity to me in terms of the fact that what other people say is actually a reflection of them and how they see themselves. And this is not to say I discard everything I read, but it's important that whenever you read anything that is an opinion, to keep in mind that that person who's sharing those words, it's as though they're looking in the mirror and speaking to themselves. And so yesterday I actually made one of the most beautiful decisions I've ever made, because I was scrambling for a solution on how I can approach these things differently. Because they come from everywhere, not just from comment sections, not just from beautiful comment sections, but it's like I've let go of a whole layer of stuff that doesn't belong to me, which is stunning for me personally. And bringing that into today, I've been making this decision gradually, but I want to share it with you because it might help you. Almost a structure of how I approach each day of my life. And this is, the function of this in my life is actually to avoid the things that result in my berating myself for what I haven't done, things I have not got to. There's this reversal of thinking in terms of, there's certain jobs that I actually do. There's work that I do outside of pyramid energy. And I have tended to prioritize that as the start of my day. So then what happens? I start my day and I'm already feeling like, don't want to do this. But the thing is, on the other end of it is that I like to have this in my life because, it gives me this steady income that I can rely on. So, and it gives me room to be able to work on pyramid energy without feeling like I'm putting all this pressure on it. So it allows me to be creative on pyramid energy, and it allows me to feel safe that I've got this other steady line of income of mine. And I have flipped the script. So I also used to start my mornings with listening to content. This is actually I'm pointing out all the various ways I would waste my energy and delay the time that it takes to get certain things done. And it becomes like this vicious cycle, because now you start your day with other people's content, which means you set your day according to someone else's tone. And then you move on to doing other people's work. And then, so my day was actually beginning with other people. I've got 444 on the timer. My day and the tone of my day was being set by other people. And I want to do so much more here on pyramid energy. But I only have so much of myself. And a lot of that needs to go to me so that I can even have the energy to put anything else into this other part of me, pyramid energy. And so my day now begins with, and no matter what now, I'm probably on day 4 of it. And I skipped one day, and I felt the effects of skipping that one day, and knowing that effect means I'm more mindful of how much I need to start my day like this. I want to now. So it's not so much a task, I want to. I start my day, and that means starting my day means from the moment I open my eyes, as long as it's light outside. So if I open my eyes and it's dark outside, that doesn't mean waking up to me. If it's still dark, then I'm in my easy leisure mode. I wake up and I start with a prayer or an affirmation. Words that affirm me, words that reinforce my safety, words that reinforce my protection, who I am, and that I'm God's child, doing God's work. And then grounding. So that is getting my cup of coffee and going outside and grounding. That is eyes open or eyes closed, but just being with myself, listening to the birds. And this is usually when I do my writing or come up with my poetry or do a reading. And so this is now the priority. So I used to look at doing a reading, whether it's for myself or for this channel. I used to look at that as a nice to have, but it's no longer a nice to have. The grounding, the writing, the creativity are priorities in my life. And so that's how I start the day. And then comes the job. I'm grateful that my schedule is this way, that it's this flexible and allows me to decide when I do the work that I do. And I'm grateful to God because I remember the journal entry where I asked for work like this last year when I had no work at all. I had months of absolutely no work, no income, and I asked God to remove my worries and to give me work that will distract me from the problems that I have and work that will enrich my mind. And God delivered. And so I'm grateful for that. But in that, I need to remember that my creativity is how I even landed here, because this is what my heart wanted. And so I'm creating a calendar to be able to structure the day so that I know how much of this work I need to do each day. And when I'm done with that, I then move into editing my content. Please excuse the noisy sounds of kids in the background. They're still on holiday. Can you believe it? And so that's editing my content so that I can post it. And then after that, I have written on this list, I've written leisure, whatever you want, which is amazing because I realize now that the way I start my day is how I build my energy. If my energy is not restored and I start by doing job work, because I think I have to call it that now, because my pyramid energy work is work, but it's work I enjoy and love and work I've created for myself. And so it's not job. And so I'm pleased to share that because I don't know whether people often share the struggle they have in terms of making room in life for new things that you want, balancing this with things that you need. Especially here, I mean, we are all very creative minds, and don't we want to live a creative life? And so it does need balance, because a creative mind is not always a highly structured mind, a highly organized mind, because having all those walls up and all those structures also interrupts the flow of creativity. And so there are pitfalls along the way in terms of how to bring balance in. And what I would say to that is to make space to start with yourself. You determine the flow of your day. You determine the start of your day. And so by the time anyone else calls you, whether they engage you, they rush into your space, and sometimes they bring in a problem or a worry that they have. Let that not be what sets the pace of your day. You need to be the determinant, the sole determinant of how you feel that day. And I'm not saying every day you'll start off feeling good, but the more you do this, the better the base you build for yourself. And whatever that looks like to you, whatever a prayer or an affirmation looks like to you, or however you remind yourself of who you are, whatever that looks like. I pray you start with that. And then to move into whatever makes you feel good. How you find your peace. Because we are humans and we are people and we live in communities and we work with other people and we are empaths, and so we pick up on all of that stuff. But once you've kind of allowed yourself to be the boldest part of your day, be the base, anything after that kind of can bounce off. And if someone does come to you with a worry, you've got the capacity to manage that. We're not silos. No man is an island. And so this for me has been something useful I've come across. And also to remember that if you do need something to make you feel more stable, ask for it. Ask God for it. And ask God for something that you're going to enjoy. You know, especially when you're going through a tough time, it's too difficult to design your best case scenario. You don't have the capacity, you don't even have the heart for it, because your heart is consumed by issues. And so leave that all, surrender all of that, and then let it go. Remember that the position that you find yourself in at that point in time, and I'm saying all of this, I'm probably going to have to listen to this again one day for myself just to remind myself, but the position that you find yourself at a point in time, if that's the position that you're in when you ask for help, let it go after that. Ask for the help and let it go. And remember, as you become impatient, remember the position that you were in, and that has not changed, and that is unchanging until what you've asked for has been answered. So that is remembering that your worst case scenario has already been acknowledged. So it can only get better from here. And to not rush the process. This process is a faith-building one. I'll tell you, I almost used a swear word. This is a big faith-building process, because when that thing appears in front of you without effort, you're going to realize that prayers are answered. They get answered, and sometimes quicker than you expected. However, it does require the patience. It does require the letting go. Otherwise, you're clutching. And the purpose of all of this is essentially to invite room into your life, to not fill your energy with worry and obsession about things you can't do anything about, but to ask for that to be sorted out for you, to create space for the things that you love and the things that you want to do. And so that's me today. That's me making room, because so many of my prayers have been answered. But there are certain things that I need to do in my own life to create space to allow more of these things in. Because I'm the determinant of how I run my day. And so that does require a level of organizing my thoughts and organizing my day into a structure that encourages and allows for my creativity to flow through as a priority without dropping the ball. I love you all and wishing you a lovely day.